The coyote, keeping pace with my truck at 60 miles per hour, turned its head, and I saw my father's face stretched over its skull. I drive fuel trucks for a living. Have for about 8 years now. The routes aren't glamorous. Window Rock to Chinle, Chinle to Ganado, Ganado to Holbrook. Diesel and unleaded to reservation gas stations that sit like islands in an ocean of red dirt and sage. The pay's decent. The hours are long. And the road teaches you things if you're willing to listen. My name's Jacob. I'm 29. I grew up in Flagstaff, but my dad was Navajo. Born in Shiprock, raised near Canyon de Chelly. He taught me some things before he died. Taught me to respect the land. Taught me that some stories aren't stories at all. Just facts people decided to call legends because the truth sat wrong in their mouths. He died 6 years ago. Heart attack in his sleep. Clean, if there is such a thing. I thought about him that night because I was running his old route. Window Rock to Chinle on Route 191. Then cutting east on Indian Route 12 through the back roads where cell service dies and the radio picks up nothing but static and the occasional Navajo language broadcast I can't fully understand. It was late September. The monsoon season had passed, but the air still held weight. Warm during the day. Cold enough at night that you wanted a jacket. I left Window Rock at 8 p.m. because the station in Chinle needed their delivery before opening at 6 a.m., and I'd learned the hard way that daytime traffic through the reservation could add 2 hours you didn't plan for. The truck was a Freightliner with a 3,000-gallon tank. Nothing fancy. CB radio that crackled more than it worked. Heat that came and went depending on whether the blend door felt like cooperating. I'd driven this exact route maybe 200 times. Knew every pothole, every cattle guard, every place where the shoulder dropped off into nothing. The first hour was normal. Highway 191 runs straight and empty most nights. High beams cutting through dark that feels older than the asphalt underneath. Sage and juniper on both sides. The occasional pair of eyes reflecting back. Rabbits, mostly. Sometimes a deer. Once in a while a coyote sitting just off the shoulder, watching traffic like it was studying something. I passed through Sawmill around 9:30. A few porch lights. A dog barking. Nothing moving. The kind of place that rolls up at sunset because there's work in the morning and no reason to burn electricity talking to the dark. That's when I first saw it. A coyote. Standing on the shoulder about 50 yards ahead. Not unusual. What was unusual? I didn't move when my headlights hit it. Most animals spook or bolt. This one just stood there. Watching, I eased off the throttle. Not because I was worried. Just because hitting an animal with a fuel truck is paperwork I don't need. But as I got closer, it turned and started trotting alongside the road, parallel to my truck, matching my speed. 20 miles per hour. 30. 40. I pressed the accelerator. The engine rumbled. The speedometer climbed. 50 miles per hour. The coyote stayed even with my driver's side window. Effortless. Like it was on a treadmill set to my exact pace. 55. 60. That's when it turned its head. Not the way an animal turns to look at something. Not a glance or a check. It rotated its skull a full 90 degrees without breaking stride, and I saw my father's face stretched over bone that wasn't built for it. The same deep-set eyes, the same heavy brow, the same scar through his left eyebrow from a childhood fall. But the proportions were wrong. The face was pulled, like skin on a mannequin that didn't quite fit. The mouth hung open, too wide. Teeth that belonged to something else. I jerked the wheel. Not hard. Just enough to give myself distance. The truck drifted right. The tires caught the rumble strip and my whole body went rigid with the vibration. When I corrected and looked back, it was gone. No coyote. No movement in the brush. Just empty road and the hum of the engine and my own heartbeat pounding in my ears. I told myself I'd imagined it. Trick of the headlights. Fatigue. Maybe a reflection off the chrome. Your brain does strange things on long night drives, fills in gaps with patterns that aren't there. But my hands were shaking on the wheel. I drove another 10 miles without seeing anything. The road curved through a section where the land dropped away on the left, steep enough that you could see the valley floor 100 feet below, dotted with the faint lights of hogans and trailers. On the right, red rock formations rose like broken teeth against the sky. The CB crackled. Static. Then a voice. "Jacob." I grabbed the handset. Pressed the button. "This is Unit 47. Who's on this channel?" More static. Then the voice again. Clearer this time. "Jacob, pull over." It was my father's voice. Not similar. Not close. Exact. The same rough edge from decades of smoking. The same slight pause before he said my name. Like he was always deciding whether to be disappointed or proud. Who is this? My voice came out harder than I meant it to. Silence. I switched channels. Scrolled through the full range. Nothing but dead air and the occasional burst of Spanish from a trucker somewhere far south. I put the handset down. My mouth was dry. I reached for the thermos of coffee in the cup holder. I took a long drink even though it had gone cold hours ago. The road straightened out. I checked my mirrors. Nothing behind me. Nothing ahead. And then I saw it again. The coyote was back. Not on the shoulder this time. It was running in the oncoming lane, directly toward me. Head low. Body stretched out in a full sprint. I should have swerved. Should have hit the brakes. But I didn't. I kept the wheel steady and watched it come. At the last second, it leapt. Not across the road. Not into the ditch. It jumped straight up. Higher than any animal should. High enough that I saw its full body silhouetted against my headlights. And in that half second, I saw the legs weren't right. Too long. Jointed wrong. Ending in something that could have been paws or could have been hands. It cleared the hood. I heard the thump as it hit the top of the cab. Metal groaning under weight. I slammed the brakes. The truck shuddered. The load shifted. I heard liquid sloshing in the tank behind me. The whole rig fishtailed, tires screaming as I fought to keep it on the road. I stopped hard. The seatbelt bit into my chest. The engine idled rough. For a long moment, I just sat there, breathing, listening. Something scraped across the roof. Slow, deliberate, claws on steel. I grabbed the mag light from the door pocket, clicked it on. The beam was strong, the kind that could light up a whole section of road if you aimed it right. I cracked the door open. The dome light came on. Cold air poured in. "Get off my truck," I said. Loud, firm. The way my dad used to talk to stray dogs that got too comfortable around the property. The scraping stopped. I stepped down onto the asphalt, boots solid. Flashlight up. I swept the beam across the top of the cab. Nothing. I walked a slow circle around the truck. Checked the tank. Checked the hoses. Checked the tires. Everything was fine. No dents. No scratches. No blood. But on the driver's side, pressed into the dust on my mirror, was a handprint. 4 fingers. A thumb. Joints in the wrong places. And at the tip of each finger, a claw mark gouged into the chrome. I wiped it off with my sleeve. Climbed back in. Locked the door. Started rolling. The CB crackled again. "Jacob, why are you running?" I didn't answer. I turned the volume down until the static was just a whisper. The next 15 miles passed in silence. I kept my speed steady. Kept my eyes on the road. I didn't look at the mirrors. Didn't check the shoulders. If something was out there, I wasn't giving it the satisfaction of knowing I'd seen it, but I felt it. That pressure you get when someone's staring at you from across a room. That weight on the back of your neck. I felt it the whole way. At the junction with Indian Route 12, I had a choice. Turn east toward Chinle like I was supposed to, or keep going north on 191 toward Mexican water where there'd be people, lights, a trading post that stayed open late. I should have gone north. I turned east. Route 12 is narrower, no center line. Just a strip of asphalt with dirt shoulders that crumble if you get too close to the edge. It cuts through open country, flat and featureless in the dark. No houses, no lights, just the endless sprawl of reservation land. A mile in, I saw the first cairn. Someone had stacked rocks on the side of the road. 5 stones, balanced careful, too neat to be natural. A mile later, another one. Same size, same placement. Then another. They were marking something. A path, a boundary. I didn't know which. My dad used to tell me about markers like that. Said some were warnings, some were offerings, and some were directions for things that didn't need roads. I passed the 7th cairn, and that's when the headlights started failing, not all at once. Just a flicker, a dim, like something was draining the power. I tapped the high beams. They came back full strength for a second, then dropped again. The CB crackled. Louder this time. "Jacob, stop the truck." I didn't. The voice came again, angrier. "Stop the truck, Jacob. We need to talk. You're not my father," I said out loud. To the cab, to the dark, to whatever was listening. A pause. Then, laughter. Low and wet. The kind of sound that doesn't come from a human throat. The headlights went out completely. I was moving at 50 miles per hour in total darkness. I hit the brakes. The truck bucked. I felt the weight shift. The tires locked. I was sliding. The lights came back on just in time for me to see the figure standing in the middle of the road. It was shaped like a man. Tall, thin, arms too long. It stood on 2 legs, but the knees bent backward. And the head was a coyote skull. Bleached white, empty sockets, jaw hanging open. I yanked the wheel hard left. The truck tilted. I felt the passenger side tires leave the ground. For one horrible second, I thought I was going over. Then they slammed back down. I missed the figure by inches. Heard something crack against the side of the tank. Metal on bone. I didn't stop. I kept my foot down. The engine roared. The speedometer climbed. In the driver's side mirror, I saw it. The figure was running behind me. On all 4s now. Body low. Legs pumping. And it was fast. Faster than the coyote had been. It closed the distance in seconds. Drew even with the rear tires. I watched it in the mirror. I watched it reach out with one too long arm and drag claws across the tank. Sparks flew. Metal screamed. I swerved. It dropped back, then surged forward again. This time it leapt, landed on the rear bumper, climbed. I heard it on the tank. Heard the claws punching through steel. Heard liquid start to spray. Diesel. I was losing fuel. I grabbed the CB. Keyed it. "This is Unit 47 on Indian Route 12. I need help. Something's attacking my truck. If anyone can hear this." Static. Then my father's voice. Calm. Almost sad. "No one's coming, Jacob. It's just you and me out here." The thing on my tank howled. Not a coyote howl. Not a wolf. Something between. Something wrong. I saw lights ahead. Faint. A quarter mile out. A gas station. The one I was supposed to deliver to. Closed for the night. but there were security lights, cameras, a fence. I pushed the truck as hard as it would go. 70, 75. The howling got louder, closer. I felt the cab shake as it climbed toward the roof. 200 yards, 100. I hit the parking lot doing 60, slammed the brakes. The truck skidded sideways, came to a stop under the bright white glare of the station lights. I threw the door open, jumped down, hit the pavement hard. The thing was on the roof of the cab, crouched, watching me. It had my father's face again, stretched over the coyote skull, skin pulled tight, eyes empty, just black holes where eyes should be. "Jacob," it said, voice wet, struggling with the shape of the word. "Come here." I backed toward the station, kept my eyes on it. "Come here, son." It tilted its head. The skin rippled. I saw the skull underneath shift. "No," I said. It smiled. The skin tore at the corners of its mouth. "You can't stay in the light forever." I reached the door of the station. Locked. I pounded on the glass, shouted. No one came. The thing stood, balanced on two legs now, swaying slightly. It took a step forward, then stopped. It looked down at its feet. Then at the edge of the light. It wouldn't cross. "I can wait," it said. I pulled out my phone. No service. But I had a flashlight app. I turned it on, aimed it at the thing. It flinched, brought one arm up to shield its face. The skin on the arm split. I saw fur underneath, matted, dark. "Get off my truck," I said. It hissed. I stepped forward, kept the light steady. It backed up. One step, then another. "You don't know what you're doing," it said. The voice was changing, getting higher, losing my father's tone. "Get off." It dropped to all fours. The skin sloughed off its back like a coat. Underneath, a coyote, larger than normal, ribs showing, patches of bare skin where fur should have been. It stared at me, yellow eyes, reflecting the phone light. Then it turned and bolted, across the parking lot, into the dark. I stood there until my phone battery died. Then I stood there longer. At dawn, a truck pulled in. The station owner, a Navajo man in his 60s named Thomas. He looked at my rig, looked at the holes punched in the side of the tank, looked at me. "You see it?" he asked. "Yeah." He nodded. "You're the third driver this month. What do I do?" He walked to his truck, came back with a toolbox and a can of patch sealant. "You finished the delivery," he said. "And you don't drive this route at night anymore." We patched the tank. He helped me offload the fuel. When we were done, he handed me a small pouch. Leather, tied with sinew. "Keep this in your truck," he said. "Cedar, sage, cornmeal, old way." I took it. He looked at me for a long moment. Then he said something in Navajo. I didn't understand all of it, but I caught two words. Yi Naudlushi, Skinwalker. I drove back to Window Rock in daylight. Took the long way. Stayed on the main highways. The pouch is still in my truck, tucked under the driver's seat. I don't drive Route 12 anymore. When dispatch assigns it, I tell them I'm sick. I'll take the ride up. I'll lose the route. Some roads aren't worth what they cost. My dad used to say the land remembers. Every step, every word, every time you show disrespect. I don't know what I did to earn what happened that night. Maybe nothing. Maybe I was just in the wrong place when something hungry decided to see if I'd break. But I know this. If you're ever driving the back roads of the Navajo Nation and you see cairns stacked on the shoulder, if your headlights start to dim for no reason, if you hear a voice you recognize coming from somewhere it shouldn't, don't stop. Don't answer. Don't look too long at the shapes moving parallel to your windows. Keep the light on. Keep moving. And get off that road before the sun goes down, because some things out there know your face, know your voice, and they'll wear both if it means you'll open the door. I've been thinking about leaving this job, finding something local, something that keeps me in town after dark, but every time I get close to quitting, I think about the other drivers, the ones who don't know, the ones who'll take the night routes because the pay's better and the roads are empty. Someone has to know what's out there. Someone has to tell them to keep the light on. If this story finds you, if you're reading this because you drive through places where the dark feels heavier than it should, take it serious. Carry sage. Carry salt. Carry something that reminds you what you are and what you're not. And if something ever wears the face of someone you loved, remember this. The dead don't need rides. They don't need help. And they sure as hell don't need you to pull over. Keep driving. If you found this story helpful, if it made you check your locks or think twice about that shortcut through the reservation, hit that like button. Drop a comment with your own experience. And subscribe so you're ready when the next story drops. Because out here, the road's got more to teach, and I'm not done learning. The deer I hit got back up, looked at me through the shattered windshield, and asked in my wife's voice if I was hurt. I'm a long-haul trucker. Name's Danny, 34 years old. Been driving since I was 22. Cross-country mostly. I-40, I-10, sometimes up through the Dakotas when the routes pay better. I've seen strange shit on the road. Everyone who drives nights has. Lights that follow you. Rest stops that feel wrong. Exits that don't exist when you check the map later. But this was different. It was mid-October. I was hauling refrigerated goods from Albuquerque to Flagstaff. Produce. Time-sensitive. The kind of load where you don't stop unless the engine's on fire or a cop lights you up. I'd left at 4 p.m. to beat the evening traffic through Gallup, planning to hit Flagstaff around midnight, unload at the warehouse by 2 a.m., and grab a few hours of sleep in the cab before heading back east, Route 40 to Route 89. Standard run. I'd done it maybe 50 times. My wife Sarah was home in Tucson with our daughter Emma, 4 years old, smart as hell. Sarah had texted me around dinner, said Emma was asking when Daddy would be home. I'd sent back a voice message, told Emma I'd bring her something special from the road. I thought about that message a lot after what happened. The sun dropped fast once I cleared Flagstaff's north side, that high desert darkness where the sky goes from blue to black in about 20 minutes. No gradient. Just gone. I switched my headlights to high beam and settled in for the empty stretch. Route 89 north of Flagstaff is lonely country. Pine forests, volcanic rock, the occasional turn off to a forest road that doesn't promise anything good. You see elk sometimes, deer, once in a while a bear if you're unlucky enough to round a corner at the wrong time. I was about 30 miles out when I saw the animal on the shoulder, a mule deer. Buck. Good size. Standing just off the white line, staring at the road like it was deciding whether to cross. I eased off the throttle, tapped the horn twice. Most animals spook. Most run. This one didn't move. I hit the horn again. Longer this time. It stepped onto the road. Not a bolt. Not a leap. Just a step. Casual. Like it had all the time in the world. Shit. I muttered. I hit the brakes. Not hard. You don't brake hard in an 18-wheeler unless you want to jackknife. But firm. Steady. The deer kept walking. Slow. Deliberate. Right into my lane. I didn't have time. The impact wasn't loud. Just a heavy thud. The kind you feel in your chest more than hear. The truck lurched. I felt the weight transfer. Saw the body roll up over the hood, the windshield spider-webbed, not shattered, just cracked in a starburst pattern right in front of my face. I got the truck stopped, pulled onto the shoulder, put the hazards on, sat there for a second, with my hands on the wheel, breathing hard. Fuck, I said out loud. To no one. To the empty cab. Hitting an animal isn't the end of the world. It happens. You call it in. You check the truck for damage. If the animal's still alive and suffering, you do what needs doing. I've got a tire iron under the seat for that exact reason. It's not pretty, but it's the right thing. I grabbed my flashlight, popped the door, stepped down onto the gravel. The front of the truck looked fine. No blood, no fur, no dent in the grille. I swept the flashlight across the asphalt behind me. Nothing. No body. No blood trail. Not even a scuff mark. What the hell? I walked back 20 yards, checked both sides of the road, checked the ditch. Nothing. I stood there in the dark with the flashlight beam cutting through the cold air, and I felt that thing you feel when the math doesn't add up, when your brain knows something happened but the evidence says it didn't. I walked back to the truck. That's when I saw it. The deer was standing on the passenger side, just standing there, upright, on all fours, staring at me through the cracked windshield. Its neck was bent, wrong, twisted at an angle that should have meant a broken spine. Its head hung low, but the eyes were tracking me, watching. I stopped walking. You've got to be fucking kidding me, I said. The deer took a step forward. Its front legs moved, but not like a deer moves. The joints bent wrong, too fluid, like a person on hands and knees pretending to be an animal. I raised the flashlight, aimed it right at its face. The deer opened its mouth. Danny, are you hurt? Sarah's voice, my wife's voice. Exact pitch, exact cadence. The same slight upturn at the end, like she was asking a question she already knew the answer to. My stomach dropped. What the fuck? I took a step back. The deer tilted its head. The neck made a wet cracking sound as it straightened. Not all the way. Just enough. Danny. Baby. Are you okay? That looked bad. I wanted to run. Wanted to jump in the truck and floor it. But my legs wouldn't move. I just stood there with the flashlight shaking in my hand. You're not Sarah, I said. Voice flat. Hard. The deer blinked. Slow. Deliberate. Of course I'm Sarah. Who else would I be? Sarah's in Tucson. I'm worried about you, Danny. You hit your head pretty hard. I didn't hit my fucking head. The deer took another step. It was close enough now that I could see the details. The fur was matted, patches missing. The skin underneath looked loose, like it didn't fit right. And the eyes were too human, too aware. Come here, it said, still Sarah's voice. Let me check you. Stay back, Danny. The voice changed, harder, colder. Come. Here. I backed toward the truck, kept the flashlight on it. The beam caught something on its flank. A handprint, pressed into the fur. 5 fingers. Too long. I reached the driver's door, grabbed the handle, pulled, locked. Shit. I fumbled for my keys, dropped them, picked them up. The deer was moving faster now. Not running, just closing the distance. Smooth. Wrong. I got the door open, climbed in, slammed it shut, hit the lock. The deer stopped, right outside my window, inches away. It stood up, not on 2 legs like a person. It just lifted. The front half of its body rose, The legs stayed bent, the hooves pressed against the glass. "Danny," it said, face level with mine, breath fogging the window. "Why are you running from me?" I turned the key. The engine roared. I threw it into gear. The deer dropped, landed on all fours. I hit the gas and it lunged, slammed into the passenger door. I heard claws scrape metal. Heard something heavy hit the side of the trailer. I didn't look back. I kept my foot down. Watched the speedometer climb. 40, 50, 60. The road curved. I took it too fast. Felt the trailer sway. Corrected. Kept going. A mile out. I checked the mirror. The deer was running behind me, keeping pace. Its body stretched out low, legs pumping in a way that didn't look natural. And it was fast. Way too fast. I pushed the truck harder. 70, 75. It stayed with me. "Come on, you piece of shit," I said to the truck, to the engine, to myself. 80. The deer fell back. Just a little, then a little more, at 85. And it stopped, stood in the middle of the road, watched me pull away. I didn't slow down until I hit the turn-off for Cameron. 20 miles south, a gas station, lights, people. I pulled into the lot doing 60, slammed the brakes. The trailer jackknifed. I didn't care. I just needed to stop. Needed to be around people. Needed to not be alone on that fucking road. I sat in the cab with the engine idling, hands shaking, heart pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. A guy knocked on my window, middle-aged, Navajo, wearing a gas station vest. I cracked the window. "You okay?" he asked. "No," I said. "I'm not fucking okay." He looked at the side of my truck, walked around it, came back. "You got some scratches here," he said. "Deep ones." "What'd you hit?" "A deer." He nodded, looked at me for a long moment. "Deer don't scratch," he said. "I know." He reached into his pocket, pulled out a small bundle, sage tied with red string. "Keep this in your cab," he said. "Don't drive at night if you can help it. And if something talks to you in a voice you know, don't answer." I took the bundle. "What was that thing?" He didn't answer right away. Just looked north, toward the road I'd come from. "Something old," he said finally. "Something that knows how to make you listen." I stayed at that gas station for 2 hours, drank bad coffee, checked the truck. The scratches were real. 4 parallel gouges, deep enough to strip paint, too high for a deer, too deliberate. At 3 a.m., I got back on the road, took the long way around, added an hour to my route. I didn't care. I called Sarah when I hit Flagstaff, woke her up. She was groggy, confused. "Danny? What's wrong?" "Nothing," I said. "Just wanted to hear your voice. Are you okay?" "Yeah, I'm fine. Go back to sleep." But I wasn't fine. I finished the delivery, drove back to Tucson, got home at noon. Sarah was in the kitchen. Emma was watching cartoons. I hugged them both. Held on longer than I should have. "You're acting weird," Sarah said. "Just missed you guys." That night, I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that deer. Saw it standing on 2 legs. Saw its mouth move with Sarah's voice. Around 2 a.m., I got up, went to the window, looked out at the street. There was a coyote sitting under the streetlight, staring at the house. I watched it for 5 minutes. It didn't move, didn't blink. Then it stood, turned, walked away on 2 legs before dropping back to 4. I didn't tell Sarah. What would I say? That something followed me home? That it knew her voice? I started carrying the sage bundle. Kept it in my truck, in my pocket, on my nightstand. A week later, I got a call from dispatch. They had a route for me. Albuquerque to Flagstaff. Same run. I can't take it, I said. Why not? Just can't. They didn't push. But I could hear the disappointment in the dispatcher's voice. The kind that says, "You're not reliable. You're not the guy they can count on." I don't care. I've been taking day routes since then. Local stuff. Phoenix to Tucson. Tucson to Casa Grande. Nothing that puts me on Route 89 after dark. But sometimes, when I'm driving through the city at night, I'll see a coyote on the side of the road, or a dog that's too big, or a person standing just outside the streetlights, and I'll hear Sarah's voice in my head. "Danny, are you hurt?" I know it's not real. I know it's just my brain trying to make sense of what happened, but I also know this. That thing on Route 89, it learned my wife's voice. It learned my name. And if I'd gotten out of that truck, if I'd walked over to check on it, I don't think I'd be here right now. Some things out there don't just kill you. They study you. They learn what you love, what you trust, and they use it. If you drive through the reservation, through the empty stretches where cell service dies and the radio goes static, and you hit something, don't get out to check. Don't stop if it gets back up, and if it talks to you in a voice you recognize. A voice that shouldn't be out there in the middle of nowhere. Drive. Don't look back. Don't second guess. Just drive until you hit lights, until you're around people, because once it knows your voice, once it knows who matters to you, it'll use that. It'll wear that like a mask, and you won't know it's wrong until it's too late. I still drive for a living, still haul cross-country, but I plan my routes different now. I avoid certain roads, certain times, certain stretches where the dark feels heavier than it should. Sarah asks me sometimes why I don't take the night routes anymore. The pay's better. The roads are emptier. I tell her I like being home for dinner. That's true. But it's not the whole truth. The whole truth is, I'm scared. Not of dying, not of crashing. I'm scared of hearing her voice coming from something that isn't her. I'm scared of Emma's laugh in the dark. I'm scared of what I might do if that thing learns to sound like my daughter. So I stay off Route 89. I keep the sage close, and I don't stop for anything after sunset. If this story sounds familiar, if you've heard something, call your name in a voice you knew. If you've seen an animal move wrong or stand wrong or look at you like it was deciding whether you'd break, you're not crazy, and you're not alone. Hit that like button if this one got under your skin. Drop a comment if you've driven that stretch of road, and subscribe, because there are more stories like this. More roads, more nights where the dark teaches you things you didn't want to learn. Stay safe out there, and remember, the dead don't ask if you're hurt. They already know. Something with my brother's voice called me from inside the old Hogan we sealed up after grandfather died. Except my brother was in Phoenix, and I was standing alone on the property. My name's Thomas. I'm 26. I grew up on my family's land outside Chinle, Arizona, about 15 miles from Canyon de Chelly, Navajo Nation. The kind of place where your nearest neighbor is 2 miles away and the silence at night is so complete you can hear your own pulse in your ears. The land's been in my family for 4 generations. 80 acres of red dirt, sage, and juniper. We run sheep, not a lot, maybe 40 head, enough to keep us fed and sell wool when the prices are good. My grandfather built most of the structures on the property himself. The main house where my parents live, the sheep pens, the equipment shed, and the old Hogan. The traditional dwelling where he lived until he got too sick to manage on his own. He died 2 years ago. Pneumonia. He was 83. We sealed the Hogan after he passed. That's the tradition. When someone dies in a Hogan, you don't use it again. You close it up, board the door, let it return to the earth. My dad and my uncle spent a whole day covering the entrance with planks and sheet metal, nailing it shut so nothing could get in or out. They said prayers, burned sage, did it the right way. I hadn't been near that Hogan in the 2 years since. Didn't need to. It sat about 200 yards from the main house, tucked against a low rise where the wind didn't hit it as hard. You could see it from the kitchen window, a dark shape against the horizon, slowly weathering, slowly disappearing. My brother Kyle lives in Phoenix now. Has for 3 years. He's got a job at a construction company, doing better than most of us. He calls every couple weeks, sends money home when he can. Good guy. We're close. Always have been. That's why I knew something was wrong the second I heard his voice coming from the Hogan. It was late March. Spring, but still cold at night. I'd been out checking the sheep, making sure none had gotten tangled in the fence wire or wandered off. It was around 10 p.m., clear sky, half moon giving just enough light to see by. I was walking back toward the house when I heard it. Thomas, faint, distant, but clear. I stopped, turned, scanned the property. Nothing. Just the dark shapes of the buildings and the long stretch of empty land beyond. Thomas, you out there? Kyle's voice. No question. Same lazy drawl. Same way he always said my name, like he was too tired to finish the word, but it was coming from the direction of the Hogan. I pulled my phone out, checked it. No missed calls, no texts. I tried calling Kyle. It rang 4 times and went to voicemail. Hey, it's Kyle. Leave a message. I hung up, stood there listening. Thomas, I need help, man. The voice came again, louder this time, clearer. My chest tightened. I started walking toward the Hogan. Not fast, just steady. My boots crunched on the gravel. The wind had died down. Everything was still. The Hogan sat in shadow, the boarded door barely visible in the moonlight. I could see the nails, the sheet metal, exactly how my dad had left it. Kyle? I called out. Loud, firm, silence. I waited, counted to 30 in my head. Thomas, in here. I'm stuck. The voice was definitely coming from inside, behind the sealed door, from a place no one should be. Kyle, if that's you, this isn't funny. I'm not joking, man. I don't know how I got in here. The door won't open. Can you help me out? Do? I took another step closer, stopped about 10 feet away. How'd you get inside? I don't know. I woke up in here. It's dark. I can't see shit. Just pull the boards off, okay? My mind was doing math it didn't want to do. Kyle was in Phoenix, 300 miles away. I talked to him 2 days ago. He was at work. He had shifts lined up all week. What's Mom's middle name? I asked. Silence. Then, what? Mom's middle name. If you're Kyle, you know it. A pause. Longer this time. Dude, what the fuck? Just get me out of here. Answer the question. I don't remember right now. I hit my head or something. I'm not thinking straight. Thomas, come on. I backed up. 1 step, then another. You're not Kyle. The voice changed, dropped lower, angrier. Open the fucking door, Thomas. No. Open it. No. Something hit the inside of the door. Hard. The metal buckled. The boards flexed. I heard nails groan. I turned and ran. Not a jog. A full sprint. Back toward the house. My lungs burned. My boots slipped on loose rock. I didn't look back. I hit the porch, threw the door open, slammed it behind me, locked it, stood there, breathing hard. My dad was in the living room, watching TV with the volume low. He looked up. "What's wrong?" "Something's in the Hogan." He sat up. "What do you mean, something?" I heard Kyle's voice, coming from inside. But it's not Kyle. It tried to get me to open the door. My dad's face went hard. He stood, walked to the window, looked out toward the Hogan. "You sure?" "Yeah." He didn't ask any more questions. Just went to the closet, pulled out a shotgun, checked the chamber, loaded 2 shells. "Stay here," he said. "I'm coming with you." "No, you're not." He walked out. I watched from the window, saw his silhouette move across the yard, flashlight in one hand, shotgun in the other. He stopped about 20 feet from the Hogan, aimed the flashlight at the door. I couldn't hear what he said, but I saw him stand there for a long time. Then he fired a shot into the air. The sound cracked across the property, echoed off the rocks. He waited, then turned and walked back. When he came inside, his face was pale. "What happened?" I asked. "It called me by my father's name," he said quietly. Used his voice. Told me to open the door and let him out. Said he'd been trapped in there since he died. Jesus Christ. That's not your grandfather in there. That's not Kyle. That's something else. What do we do? He set the shotgun down, sat on the couch, rubbed his face with both hands. We don't go near it. We don't answer it. And we sure as hell don't open that door. That night, I didn't sleep. I lay in bed with my window cracked, listening. Around midnight, I heard it again. "Thomas, please. I'm scared." Kyle's voice. Younger this time. The way he sounded when we were kids and he'd have nightmares. "Thomas, there's something in here with me. Please help." I put a pillow over my head, tried to block it out. It didn't work. "Thomas, it's touching me. Oh God. Thomas, please." I got up, walked to the window, looked out. The Hogan was dark, silent, but I could feel something looking back, something waiting. I closed the curtain, went back to bed, put in earbuds, played music until the battery died. By dawn, the voice had stopped. I went out with my dad after breakfast. We stood at a distance and looked at the Hogan. The door was still sealed, the boards intact, but there were scratches on the metal, fresh, deep, like something with claws had been trying to get out. "We need to call someone," I said. "Who?" "I don't know. A medicine man. Someone who knows how to deal with this shit." My dad nodded. "I'll make some calls." That afternoon, an elder named Mr. Begay came out to the property. He was old, maybe 70, thin, walked with a cane, but his eyes were sharp. He looked at the Hogan from a distance, didn't get close. "How long has this been happening?" he asked. "Started last night," I said. And the voice, "It's someone you know?" "My brother." My dad said it used my grandfather's voice too. Mr. Begay nodded slowly. "It's learning. It listens, watches, finds the voices that make you trust it." "What is it?" He didn't answer right away, just stared at the Hogan. "When your grandfather died in there, did you do the cleansing?" My dad spoke up. "We did. We burned sage, said the prayers, sealed the door, but you didn't tear it down." "No, you should have." Mr. Begay walked closer, not all the way, just close enough to see the scratches. He bent down, looked at the ground. I saw his jaw tighten. "There are tracks here," he said, leading away from the Hogan, then back, then away again. "Whatever's inside, It's been coming and going. How? I asked. The door sealed. He pointed at the base of the structure. There was a gap, small, maybe 6 inches, where the earth had settled over time and pulled away from the logs. It doesn't need a big space, he said. Just enough. So what do we do? He straightened, looked at both of us. You burn it. Tonight, before it learns any more voices, before it decides to come out when you're not expecting it. Will that kill it? My dad asked. No, but it'll make it leave. It'll find somewhere else to hide, somewhere else to wait. And if we don't burn it, Mr. Begay looked at me, then at my dad. Then one night, it'll sound so much like someone you love that you'll open a door or a window, or you'll walk out to help. And once you let it in, it doesn't leave. We spent the rest of the day preparing. My dad called my uncle, called 2 cousins. By sunset, there were 6 of us on the property. We hauled old fence posts and scrap wood, stacked it around the hogan, poured diesel over the whole thing. Mr. Begay stood with us, said prayers I didn't fully understand, burned sage, sprinkled cornmeal in a circle around the structure. Don't listen to anything it says, he told us. No matter whose voice it uses, no matter what it promises, you light the fire and you walk away. My dad handed me the torch, a rag soaked in diesel tied to a length of rebar. You do it, he said. Why me? Because it called you first. It wanted you. You finish it. I took the torch, lit it with a butane lighter. The flame caught quick, bright and hot. I walked toward the hogan. My hands were shaking. The heat from the torch made my face sweat. I stopped at the edge of the diesel-soaked wood, looked at the sealed door one last time. Thomas, Kyle's voice. Quiet, sad. Thomas, please don't do this. I didn't answer. I'm sorry I left. I'm sorry I didn't come back. I'm sorry for everything. Just don't burn me. Please. My throat tightened. I wanted to believe it. Wanted to believe Kyle was somehow inside, trapped, scared. But I knew better. You're not my brother, I said. The voice changed, deepened, twisted into something that wasn't human. Then you'll never see him again. I threw the torch. The diesel caught instantly. Flames roared up the sides of the hogan. The wood crackled. The old logs groaned. Black smoke poured into the sky, and from inside, I heard screaming. Not Kyle's voice, not my grandfather's. Something else. High-pitched, wet, like multiple voices layered over each other. Screaming words I didn't recognize in a language I'd never heard. We stood back and watched it burn. The heat was intense. I could feel it on my face from 30 feet away. The screaming lasted maybe 2 minutes. Then it cut off. Just stopped. Like someone had hit a switch. The fire burned for hours. Long after midnight, we took turns watching it, making sure nothing left the flames, making sure nothing walked away. By dawn, there was nothing left but ash and the stone foundation. Mr. Begay came back that morning, looked at the remains, nodded. It's gone, he said. You sure? For now. He turned to leave, then stopped, looked back at me. Your brother. Call him. Make sure he's okay. Why? Because sometimes, when they learn a voice, they don't let go easy. I called Kyle that afternoon. He answered on the second ring. Hey man, what's up? You okay? Yeah. Why wouldn't I be? Just checking. You sound weird. Something wrong? No, just had a rough couple days. Want to talk about it? I almost told him, almost explained everything, but I didn't. What would I say? That something wore his voice like a mask, that it tried to use him to get me to open a door? Nah, I said. I'm good. Just wanted to hear your voice. All right. Well, I'm here if you need me. I know. We hung up. I felt better. Lighter. Like a weight I didn't know I was carrying had lifted. That night, I slept better than I had in days, but around 3 a.m., I woke up to my phone buzzing. A text. From Kyle. Why did you burn me? I sat up, stared at the screen, my heart pounding. I called him. It rang, and rang, and rang. No answer. I tried again. Still nothing. I checked the timestamp on the text. Sent it 2:47 a.m. Phoenix time. That would be 3:47 a.m. I waited 5 minutes. Called again. This time, he picked up. Dude, it's almost 4 in the morning. What the hell? Did you just text me? What? No. I've been asleep. Check your phone. I heard rustling. Then silence. I don't see any texts to you, he said. Last thing I sent was 3 days ago. That meme about the dog. My stomach turned. Kyle, if you get any weird texts from me, or if you hear my voice somewhere you shouldn't, don't answer. Don't trust it. Okay? Thomas. What the fuck are you talking about? Just promise me. A long pause. Okay. I promise. Are you all right? Yeah. I'm fine. Go back to sleep. I hung up, deleted the text, but I took a screenshot first, just in case. I didn't sleep the rest of that night. I sat on my bed with the lights on, checking my phone every few minutes, waiting for another message. It didn't come. The next day, my dad and I scattered salt around the foundation where the Hogan had been, drew a line in the dirt. Mr. Begay said it wouldn't stop everything, but it would make things think twice. For a week, everything was quiet, normal. The sheep were fine, no strange sounds, no voices. Then, 8 days after we burned the Hogan, I was out fixing fence line near the southern property boundary, about a half-mile from the house. It was late afternoon, sun starting to drop. I was alone. I heard footsteps behind me. I turned, saw a figure walking toward me. Silhouetted against the Sunday, I couldn't make out details, just the shape. Tall, thin, moving slow. Hello? I called out. It didn't answer, just kept walking. I grabbed the fence post I'd been working with, held it like a bat. Stop right there. It stopped, maybe 50 feet away. Thomas, Kyle's voice. Why'd you do it, man? You're not Kyle. I am. I came back. I came to see you. Bullshit. Kyle's in Phoenix. The figure tilted its head. The movement was wrong. Too fluid. Like the bones didn't connect right. I was in Phoenix. Now I'm here. Aren't you happy to see me? Get the fuck off my property. It took a step forward. Make me. I threw the post. Hard. It spun end over end. Hit the figure in the chest. It didn't flinch. Didn't fall. Just caught it. One-handed. Like it weighed nothing. Then it smiled. I saw teeth. Too many. Too sharp. I ran. Didn't look back. Just hauled ass toward the house. My lungs burned. My legs screamed. I could hear footsteps behind me. Fast. Getting closer. I hit the porch. Threw the door open. My dad was inside. Lock it, I shouted. Lock everything. He didn't ask questions. Just moved. Locked the front door. The back door. The windows. Pulled the curtains. We stood in the living room, breathing hard, listening. Footsteps on the porch. Slow. Deliberate. A knock at the door. 3 times. Polite. Like a neighbor stopping by. Thomas, let me in. It's cold out here. Kyle's voice. Perfect. Exact. My dad looked at me. I shook my head. Thomas, come on, man. Don't be like this. We didn't answer. The knocking stopped. Footsteps moved across the porch, around the side of the house. We heard them pass the living room window, then the kitchen, then the back door. It was circling, looking for a way in. My dad grabbed his shotgun, loaded it, stood by the front door. If it tries to break in, he said. I know. We waited. An hour, 2. The sun set. Darkness pressed against the windows. Around 8 p.m., the footsteps stopped. We didn't hear it leave. It just stopped. We stayed inside the rest of the night, took turns keeping watch. My dad dozed in a chair. I sat by the window with a flashlight and a kitchen knife. Nothing came back. By morning, we were exhausted. My dad went out first, checked the perimeter. I followed. There were tracks, bare feet, human-shaped, but the toes were too long, the stride too wide. They circled the house 3 times, then led off toward the south, toward where the Hogan had been, at the burned foundation. The tracks stopped, right at the edge of the salt line we'd drawn. They didn't cross. My dad and I looked at each other. It can't get past the salt, I said. Not yet, he said. But it's trying. We called Mr. Begay again. He came out that afternoon, looked at the tracks, reinforced the salt line, added more prayers, more protections. It's angry, he said. You took its home. Now it wants yours. How long will this last? Hard to say. Could be days. Could be weeks. Could be longer. What do? You keep the salt fresh. You don't go out alone. You don't answer if it calls. And you pray it finds somewhere else to be. That was 3 months ago. It still comes by sometimes. Not every night. Just sometimes. I'll hear Kyle's voice outside my window, or my grandfather's, or my mom's. Always someone I love, always someone I'd open a door for. But I don't. I keep the salt fresh. I keep the doors locked. I keep my phone close so I can call the real Kyle, the real people, and make sure they're okay. Kyle knows now. I told him everything. He believes me. He's had weird shit happen too. Calls in the middle of the night from my number, but I'm asleep. Texts that I never sent. He changes his number every few weeks now, just in case. My dad's looking into selling the property, moving somewhere else, somewhere without history, without old structures that hold on to things. I don't know if that'll help. I don't know if this thing is tied to the land or to us, but I know this. If you've got an old Hogan on your property, one where someone died, tear it down. Don't just seal it. Don't just board it up. Burn it. Salt the ground. Make sure nothing can use it as a home, because once something moves in, once it learns your voice and your habits and the people you love, it doesn't leave easy. And if you hear someone you know calling for help from a place they shouldn't be, a place that's been sealed or abandoned or forgotten, don't answer. Don't open the door. Don't trust the voice, because the thing wearing it, the thing pretending to be someone you love, it doesn't want to talk. It wants in, and once you let it in, it doesn't leave. I'm still on the property, still checking the sheep, still fixing fence line, but I don't go out after dark anymore. I don't work alone, and I sure as hell don't go near where that Hogan used to be. The salt line's still there, fresh, unbroken, and as long as it stays that way, I'm okay. If you found this helpful, if it made you think twice about the old structures on your land or the voices you hear in the dark, hit that like button. Drop a comment if you've got a story like this, and subscribe for more. because the reservation's got plenty of places where things hide, plenty of voices that shouldn't be speaking, and plenty of people who learn the hard way what happens when you answer. Stay safe, keep your doors locked, and remember, if it sounds too much like someone you love, it probably isn't them. I found my grandfather standing in the kitchen at 3 a.m. making coffee, using his hands the wrong way. My grandfather died in 1987. My name's Aaron. I'm 31. I live alone in a double-wide trailer on the edge of the Navajo Reservation, about 12 miles outside Tuba City, Arizona. It's not much. 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, a kitchen that's too small, and a living room that doubles as my office. But it's mine. Paid off. Quiet. The kind of place where you can think without the world pressing in on you. I work as a surveyor for the BLM, Bureau of Land Management. I map boundaries, check fence lines, document water sources. Most of my work happens during the day, but sometimes I'm out until sunset taking measurements or marking GPS coordinates. It's solitary work. I like it that way. My grandfather, his name was Joe, raised me after my parents died in a car accident when I was 7. He was full Navajo, spoke the language, knew the traditions, the stories. He taught me how to track animals, how to read the land, how to respect things I didn't fully understand. He died when I was 14. Heart attack. Sudden. One day he was fixing the fence behind his house. The next day he was gone. I hadn't thought about him in years. Not in detail, anyway. He was just part of the background of my life. A memory that sat quiet and didn't demand attention until I saw him in my kitchen. It was early April. I'd been out all day working a boundary dispute near the Hopi Reservation. Some rancher claimed his property line extended 200 yards farther than the BLM maps showed. My job was to verify the surveys from the 80s and see if he had a case. Turns out he didn't. The maps were accurate. He just wanted more grazing land and figured he'd take a shot. I got home around 9 p.m., ate leftover chili straight from the Tupperware, watched half an episode of some crime show I didn't care about. By 11, I was in bed. I'm a light sleeper. Always have been. Any sound wakes me up. A coyote yipping, the wind rattling the trailer, the refrigerator kicking on. At 3:14 a.m., I woke up to the sound of the coffee maker, that low burble it makes when water starts heating, then the hiss as it drips through the grounds. I lay there for a second, trying to make sense of it. I didn't set the timer. I never do. I make coffee in the morning when I'm awake, not at 3 in the goddamn morning. I sat up, listened. I heard movement in the kitchen, footsteps, the cabinet opening, a mug being set on the counter. Someone was in my house. My chest tightened. I reached under the bed, grabbed the aluminum bat I keep there. Not a gun guy. Never saw the point. But a bat I can use. I crept to the bedroom door, opened it slow, peeked into the hallway. The kitchen light was on. I could see the yellow glow spilling into the living room. I moved quiet, socks on linoleum, bat raised. I reached the edge of the kitchen, took a breath, and stepped into the doorway. My grandfather was standing at the counter, pouring coffee into a mug. I froze. He looked exactly like I remembered. Tall, thin, long gray hair pulled back in a ponytail, denim shirt, jeans with a turquoise belt buckle, the same deep lines in his face, the same broad nose, but his hands were moving wrong, the fingers bent backward at the knuckles, the wrist rotated too far. When he gripped the coffee pot handle, the thumb was on the wrong side, like someone who'd studied how humans hold things but didn't quite get the mechanics right. He poured the coffee, set the pot down, picked up the mug, turned, and looked right at me. "Aaron," he said. His voice was perfect, deep, rough, the same slight accent. You want some coffee? I couldn't move, couldn't speak, just stood there with the bat shaking in my hands. He tilted his head. You look scared. Don't be scared. It's just me. You're dead. I managed. Voice barely a whisper. He smiled. I got better. That's not. You can't. He took a sip of coffee. The motion was wrong. His head tilted too far back. His throat didn't move when he swallowed. Sit down, he said. We should talk. Get out of my house. This is my house too. I helped you buy it. Remember? I co-signed the loan. That was true. He had. 3 years before he died, when I was 11, he'd put his name on some papers for my parents. A loan for land. For a future. But that didn't matter now. You need to leave, I said. Louder this time. He set the mug down. Took a step toward me. Aaron, I've missed you. Haven't you missed me? Stop. Another step. His knees bent wrong. Too loose. Like the joints weren't connected right. I came back to see you. To make sure you're okay. You're not my grandfather. His smile faded. The face. The skin. It rippled. Like something underneath was shifting. Then who am I? I don't know. But you're not him. The thing wearing my grandfather's face stared at me for a long moment. Then it laughed. Low. Wet. The sound didn't come from its mouth. It came from somewhere deeper. Somewhere wrong. Smart boy, it said. The voice was changing. Getting higher. Thinner. Your grandfather always said you were smart. I backed up. One step. Then another. The bat still raised. It followed. Slow. Patient. Where are you going, Aaron? This is your house. You should stay. I hit the wall. Nowhere left to go. It stopped. Right in front of me. Close enough I could smell it. Wet earth. Rotting meat. Old blood. I've been watching you, it said. For a long time. I know your routines. I know when you leave. When you come back. I know you're alone out here. No one close. No one who'd hear you scream. My hand tightened on the bat. What do you want? It leaned in. The face. My grandfather's face. Was inches from mine. I want you to invite me in. You're already in. Not all the way. Not yet. But if you ask me to stay, if you say the words, then I can be. Fuck you. It smiled again. The skin around its mouth tore slightly. I saw something dark underneath. Something slick. You will, it said. Eventually. They all do. Then it turned. Walked back to the kitchen. Picked up the coffee mug. Took another sip. I'll be here when you're ready, it said without looking at me. I didn't wait. I bolted for the front door. Threw it open. Ran outside into the cold. The moon was bright. The desert stretched out in every direction. Empty. Silent. I stood on the gravel driveway in my socks and boxers. Breathing hard. The bat still in my hands. I looked back at the trailer. The kitchen light was still on. I could see the thing through the window. Standing at the counter, drinking coffee, I pulled out my phone. Called 911. 911. What's your emergency? There's someone in my house. I don't know who. They broke in. I need help. Are you safe right now, sir? I'm outside, but they're inside. They look like my grandfather, but he's dead. He died in '87. This isn't him. This is something else. A pause. Sir, are you injured? No. But you need to send someone. Please, stay where you are. Officers are on the way. I stayed on the line, kept my eyes on the trailer. The thing didn't move, just stood there, drinking coffee. 20 minutes later, headlights appeared on the access road. A Navajo Nation police cruiser. 2 officers, a man and a woman. They pulled up, got out. The male officer approached me first. "You the one who called?" "Yeah. There's someone inside. They broke in. You see how they got in?" "No." I woke up and they were just there. The female officer pulled her flashlight. "Stay here." They went inside. I watched through the window, saw their flashlights sweeping the rooms, saw them check the kitchen, the bedrooms, the bathroom. 5 minutes later, they came back out. "There's no one inside," the male officer said. "What? We checked everywhere. It's empty. That's impossible." I saw him. He was standing right there, in the kitchen, drinking coffee. The female officer looked at me. "Sir, have you been drinking tonight?" "No. I'm telling you the truth. He was there." "Who was there?" "My grandfather. Or something that looked like him." They exchanged a glance. "Your grandfather," the male officer said slowly. Does he live nearby?" "He's dead. He died in 1987. Another pause. "Sir, I think you might have had a nightmare. Stress, lack of sleep. It happens. I wasn't asleep. I was awake. I was standing right here." The female officer stepped closer, lowered her voice. "Listen, I'm going to be straight with you. If you saw something that looked like someone who passed, and it was acting strange, you need to take that serious. You understand what I'm saying?" I looked at her. She wasn't smiling, wasn't mocking me. Her face was hard, concerned. "Yeah," I said. "I understand." "Good. You got sage in there?" "No. Get some. Burn it. And don't invite anything inside, even if it looks like someone you know. Especially if it looks like someone you know." She handed me her card. "You see it again. You call me directly, not dispatch. Me." They left. I stood outside for another 30 minutes. Then I went back in. The kitchen was exactly how I'd left it. Coffee pot still warm. A mug on the counter, half full, still steaming. I poured it down the sink, washed the mug 3 times, unplugged the coffee maker. I didn't sleep that night. Just sat in the living room with the bat in my lap and the lights on, watching the kitchen doorway. By dawn, I was exhausted. My body ached. My eyes burned. But I was alive. And the thing, whatever it was, hadn't come back. I called in sick to work, drove into Tuba City, bought sage at a trading post. The woman behind the counter saw what I was buying and asked if everything was okay. "No," I said. She nodded. Didn't ask more, just wrapped the sage and handed it to me. "Burn it in every room. Windows open. Say a prayer if you know one. If you don't, just ask for protection." I did what she said. Burned sage in every corner of the trailer. Let the smoke fill the rooms. Said the only prayer I remembered. The one my grandfather taught me when I was a kid. In Navajo. Halting. Probably wrong. But I said it anyway. When I was done, I felt better. Not safe, but better. That night, I slept with the lights on again. The bat within reach. At 3:14 a.m., I woke up to the coffee maker. My stomach dropped. I grabbed the bat. Walked to the kitchen. He was there again. Same position. Same clothes. Pouring coffee. "Aaron," he said without turning. "You burned sage. That was smart. But it won't keep me out. What do you want from me?" He turned. The face was different this time. The features were slipping. The nose too wide, the eyes too far apart, like a mask that wasn't glued down right. I told you, I want you to invite me in. Why? Because once you do, I can stay permanently, and you won't be alone anymore. I don't want you here. It smiled, the mouth open too wide. I saw teeth that didn't belong to a human. Sharp, jagged. You will. Give it time. I didn't answer. Just stood there, gripping the bat. It poured another cup of coffee, walked to the table, sat down, gestured to the chair across from it. Sit. Let's talk like family. No. Sit, Aaron. No. Its face twitched. The skin rippled. I saw fur underneath. Dark. Matted. Sit. Down. I raised the bat. Get out of my house. Now. It stood. The chair scraped loud against the floor. It was taller now. Thinner. The arms too long. The fingers ending in claws. This is my house, it said. Voice deeper. Growling. I was here first. I was here before you. Before your grandfather. Before anyone. Bullshit. It lunged. I swung the bat. Felt it connect. Heard a crack. The thing stumbled. Hit the counter. The coffee mug shattered on the floor. It hissed. The sound was animal. Wet. Wrong. I swung again. Caught it in the ribs. It doubled over. Claws scraping the linoleum. I ran for the door. Threw it open. Got outside. Behind me. I heard it laugh. Not my grandfather's laugh. Something else. High-pitched. Manic. I didn't look back. Just ran to my truck. Got in. Locked the doors. Started the engine. In the rear view mirror, I saw it standing in the doorway. Watching. The face shifting. Melting. Reforming into something I didn't recognize. I drove. Didn't know where. Just drove until I hit pavement. Then I kept going. I ended up at a Denny's in Flagstaff. Sat in a booth with bad coffee and tried to figure out what the fuck to do. I called the officer. The woman who'd given me her card. Officer Tsozi. She answered on the third ring. This is Tsozi. It's Aaron. You came to my place 2 nights ago. I remember. You okay? No. It came back. Last night. Same thing. Same person. It tried to attack me. I hit it with a bat. And ran. Silence. Where are you now? Flagstaff. Denny's on Route 66. Stay there. I'll call you back in 10 minutes. She hung up. I sat there. Drank the bad coffee. Watched the sun rise through the window. She called back exactly 10 minutes later. I talked to someone, she said. A medicine man. He says what you're dealing with is old. It's been on that land a long time. It uses faces, voices, memories. Makes you trust it so you'll let it in fully. How do I stop it? You don't. You leave. That's my home. Not anymore. It claimed it. If you go back, it'll keep coming. It'll keep wearing faces until it finds one that works. And once you invite it in, once you let it stay, you won't be you anymore. So I just abandon everything. You want to live? Yeah. You leave. Find somewhere else. Somewhere it hasn't been. Somewhere clean. I didn't want to believe her. Didn't want to accept that the thing in my kitchen had won, but I also didn't want to die. I hung up, finished the coffee, sat there for another hour. Then I drove back to Tuba City, packed a bag, grabbed my important documents, my laptop, some clothes. I left everything else. I didn't go inside the trailer again after that. Just backed the truck up to the door, loaded what I could reach from outside, and left. I'm staying with a friend in Holbrook now, sleeping on his couch, looking for a new place, somewhere far from the reservation, somewhere with neighbors, somewhere that doesn't have history buried in the ground. The trailer's still there. I haven't sold it, haven't gone back. I probably never will. Sometimes, late at night, I wonder if it's still there, still standing in the kitchen, still making coffee at 3 a.m., still waiting for me to come home. I hope it rots. I hope it starves. I hope it finds somewhere else to be, but I know it won't. Things like that. They're patient. They wait. And they remember. If you're living alone on the reservation, or anywhere isolated, and you see someone who shouldn't be there, someone who died or moved away or doesn't exist anymore, don't talk to them. Don't let them in. Don't trust the face they're wearing. And if they're already inside, if they're standing in your kitchen making coffee or sitting in your living room like they belong, leave. Don't pack. Don't hesitate. Just go. Because once they get comfortable, once they decide your home is theirs, you won't get it back. I lost my trailer, lost my peace, lost the one place I thought was safe, but I'm alive. And that's more than a lot of people can say. If this story helped you, if it made you check your locks, or think twice about that noise in the kitchen, hit that like button, leave a comment with your experience, and subscribe for more. Because there are things out here that don't die. They just wait. Stay safe. Stay smart. And remember, the dead don't drink coffee, and if they do, you need to run. I heard my wife calling for help from the shed behind our house. My wife, who was standing right next to me in the kitchen, hearing the same thing. My name's Michael. I'm 38. I've been married to Rebecca for 12 years. We live on 10 acres outside Shiprock, New Mexico, about 6 miles from the San Juan River. It's good land. Flat. Decent soil. We run a small vegetable operation. Sell at the farmer's market in Farmington on weekends. Tomatoes, squash, peppers. Nothing fancy, but it pays the bills and keeps us fed. Rebecca's white. I'm Navajo. We met in Albuquerque when we were both in college. She was studying agriculture. I was doing civil engineering but hated it. Dropped out after 2 years and came back to the reservation. She followed. Her family wasn't thrilled, but they got over it. Mostly, we built the house ourselves. Well, I built it. She designed it. Small, efficient. 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, an open kitchen, and living room. And out back, about 50 yards from the house, there's a tool shed. 8 by 10, metal roof, plywood walls. We store equipment in there. Shovels, hose, seed, fertilizer. The mower, when it's not running, the shed's old, was already on the property when we bought it. The previous owner used it for the same thing. Tools, storage. Nothing special, but something about it always felt off. Rebecca noticed it first. About 3 years ago, she said she didn't like going in there after dark. Said it felt like someone was watching her from the corners. I told her it was just an old shed. Drafty. Full of shadows. Nothing to worry about. I was wrong. It was late August. Hot during the day. But the nights were starting to cool down. We'd just finished dinner. Chicken and rice. Simple. Rebecca was washing dishes. I was drying and putting them away. We were talking about nothing important. The market. What sold well. What didn't. Whether we should plant more peppers next season or focus on the tomatoes. That's when we heard it. Michael. Help. Faint. Distant. Coming from outside. Rebecca's voice. I stopped mid-wipe. looked at her. She was staring at me, eyes wide, sponge frozen in her hand. "Did you hear that?" I asked. "Yeah." And we stood there, listening. "Michael, please. I need help." Louder this time, clearer, coming from the direction of the shed. Rebecca's face went pale. That's my voice." "I know, but I'm right here. I know." We moved to the window, looked out into the yard. The sun had just set. The sky was that deep purple color it gets right before full dark. I could see the shed. The door was closed. No lights. No movement. "Michael, it hurts. Please." The voice was desperate now. Scared. Like someone in real pain. Rebecca grabbed my arm. "Don't go out there. Something's wrong. That's not me out there. You know that's not me." "I know. But what? You think I'm in two places at once?" I didn't have an answer for that. Because logically, rationally, I knew she was right. She was standing next to me. The voice outside couldn't be hers, but it sounded so real, so exact. "Michael, please. I'm bleeding." Rebecca's grip tightened. "Do not go out there." I pulled away, grabbed a flashlight from the drawer. "I'm just going to check. From a distance. I won't go inside." "Michael, stay here." Locked the door behind me. I didn't give her time to argue. Just walked out. Heard the deadbolt click behind me. The air outside was cool. Crickets were starting up. I could hear the highway in the distance. A low hum of traffic. I clicked the flashlight on. Swept the beam across the yard. Nothing. Just grass and the gravel path leading to the shed. "Michael, where are you?" "I'm scared." The voice was coming from inside the shed. I could hear it clearly now. Muffled, like someone behind a closed door. I walked closer. Slow. Careful. My heart was pounding so hard I could feel it in my throat. I stopped about 10 feet from the shed. Aimed the flashlight at the door. It was closed. The padlock was hanging open on the latch. But the door was shut. "Rebecca?" I called out. Loud. Firm. Silence. Then, "Michael? Is that you?" Thank God. I don't know how I got in here. The door is stuck. Can you open it? I took a step back. How did you get in there? I don't know. I came out to get the rake and the door closed behind me. I think the latch is jammed. Can you help me? Rebecca's in the house. Hey, a pause. What? No, I'm right here. Michael, please. It's dark in here. I can't see anything. Prove you're Rebecca. What? Tell me something only she would know. Another pause. Longer this time. Michael, what the hell are you talking about? Just open the door. Answer the question. Silence. Then, a different tone. Colder. Open the fucking door, Michael. No. Open it. No. I heard something move inside. Something heavy. Scraping against the floor. Michael, if you don't open this door, I'm going to make you regret it. Still Rebecca's voice. But wrong now. Hard. Angry. I backed up. Kept the flashlight trained on the door. I'm going back inside, I said. And you, whatever you are, you stay in there. Laughter. Low. Mean. Not Rebecca's laugh. Something that had learned the shape of it but couldn't get the tone right. You can't keep me in here forever. I turned. Walked back to the house. Didn't run. Didn't look back. Just walked. Rebecca opened the door before I could knock. Pulled me inside. Locked it behind me. What happened? Something's in the shed. It sounds like you. Talks like you. But it's not you. What is it? I don't know. We stood at the window. watching. The shed door stayed closed. No movement. No sound. "We should call someone," Rebecca said. "Who?" "The cops." "And tell them what? That something in our shed is pretending to be you? Then what do we do?" I didn't have an answer. We stayed up all night. Took turns watching the shed. It didn't open. Didn't move. But around 2 a.m., we heard it again. "Michael, Rebecca, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to scare you. I just want to come inside. It's cold out here." Rebecca shivered. "It knows my name. It knows both our names. Michael, please. I'm your wife. Don't leave me out here." Rebecca covered her ears. "Make it stop. I'm trying. Michael, you're going to regret this. Both of you." The voice was changing, getting deeper, rougher, losing Rebecca's tone. At dawn, it went quiet. We waited until full light. Then I went out. Rebecca stayed inside with the phone ready to call 911 if anything went wrong. I approached the shed. The door was still closed, the padlock still hanging open. I didn't open the door, just walked around the perimeter, checked for gaps, for holes, for any way something could have gotten in. At the back, I found tracks. Not human, not animal, something in between, four-toed, clawed, leading from the tree line to the shed. Then, nothing. Like whatever made them had vanished. I went back inside, told Rebecca what I'd found. "We're burning it," she said. "What?" "The shed. We're burning it down." "Rebecca, I'm not living 50 yards away from that thing. I don't care what it costs to replace. We burn it. Today." I wanted to argue. Wanted to say we should think it through. We spent the morning preparing, moved everything out of the shed we wanted to keep, stacked it in the garage. Then we soaked the shed walls with diesel, poured it on the roof, the floor, made sure everything was saturated. We didn't hear the voice while we worked. It stayed quiet, like it knew what we were planning. By noon, we were ready. Rebecca stood back with the garden hose, just in case. I lit a road flare, walked up to the shed, tossed it inside. The diesel caught instantly. Flames roared up the walls. Black smoke poured into the sky. The heat was intense. I backed up, stood next to Rebecca. We watched it burn, and that's when we heard it, screaming. Not Rebecca's voice. Something else. High-pitched, wet, inhuman. It came from inside the shed, from the flames, getting louder, more desperate. Then, the door burst open. Something stumbled out, on fire, thrashing. It was shaped like a person, but wrong. Too tall, too thin, arms too long. The skin was peeling away. Underneath, I saw fur, matted, dark. It ran, not toward us, toward the tree line. Fast, unnatural. It made it about 20 yards before it collapsed. The flames consumed it. The screaming stopped. We stood there, frozen, watching it burn. When it was over, when the body was nothing but ash and charred bone, we looked at each other. "What the fuck was that?" Rebecca whispered. "I don't know. We called the fire department, told them we'd had an accident burning brush and it got out of control. They came out, put out what was left of the shed, asked a few questions. We played dumb. They didn't push. After they left, we went back to where the thing had fallen. There was nothing left. Just a black mark on the ground. Ash. Bits of bone that didn't look human or animal. We buried it, dug a hole, filled it in, planted sage over it. That night, we barely slept. Every sound made us jump. Every creak in the house felt like something trying to get in, but nothing came. The next day, we called a medicine man, an elder from Shiprock named Mr. Nez. He came out, looked at the burned shed, looked at where we'd buried the remains. Didn't say much. Finally, he asked, "Did it speak to you?" "Yeah," I said. "It used my wife's voice." He nodded. "It was testing you, seeing if you'd open the door, if you'd invite it in. What would have happened if we did? It would have worn her face, learned her mannerisms, her habits, and one day, you wouldn't have been able to tell the difference between her and it." Rebecca grabbed my hand. "So, it's gone now?" Mr. Nez looked at the tree line. "This one is. But there are others. This land, it draws them. Always has. What do we do?" He reached into his bag, pulled out small bundles of sage tied with red string, handed them to us. "Burn these in your home, every corner. Say prayers. And don't ever answer a voice you can't see, even if it sounds like someone you trust." We did what he said, burned the sage, said the prayers, hung bundles over the doors, over the windows. That was 6 months ago. We rebuilt the shed, new location, closer to the house. We keep it locked now, always, even during the day, and we don't work outside after dark. Don't go near the tree line. Don't answer voices we can't verify, but sometimes, late at night, I hear it. "Michael, help." Faint, distant, coming from somewhere past the fence line. Rebecca hears it too. Her voice calling my name, my voice calling hers. We don't answer. We don't go to the window. We just turn up the TV or put in earplugs and wait for morning, because we learned something that night. Something important. There are things out there that study you, that learn your voice, your habits, the people you love, and they use that information. They use it to get close, to get inside, and once they're inside, once you've invited them in, there's no getting them out. We got lucky. We didn't open the door. We didn't fall for the trick, but not everyone does. If you live on the reservation, or anywhere isolated, and you hear someone calling for help from a place they shouldn't be, from a shed, or a barn, or the tree line, don't answer. Don't go to them. Don't open the door. Call their phone. Verify where they are. Make sure the voice matches the person, because the thing out there, the thing wearing their voice, it doesn't want to talk. It wants in, and once it's in, you won't get your home back. You won't get your life back. We're still here, still farming, still selling at the market, but we're careful now. We lock our doors. We burn sage. We don't work alone, and we never, ever answer a voice we can't see. If this story helped you, if it made you double-check who's calling your name, hit that like button. Drop a comment if you've experienced something similar, and subscribe for more, because the reservation has stories, old stories, true stories, stories that'll make you think twice before answering the next time someone calls your name in the dark. Stay safe, stay smart, and remember, if you can't see them, don't trust them, because the dead don't need help, and the living don't call from empty sheds.